Yo, so looking for an extra film for the pod, I stumbled upon Spinster. Right? It's a film from Andrea Dorfman, written by Jennifer Deyell. Uh, it is produced by William Woods, Mark Tetterout, Bill Niven, and Jay Dahl. Executive produced by Mark Gingras and associate produced by Luke Black. Daniel Ledwell handles the music. Cinematography is Stephanie Ann and Weber Biron. Simone Smith edits the piece, while we've got Lisa Eustrom, Michael Tester, Erin Hennessy, and Marsha Chelsea handling all the casting situations. Michael Pearson was production design. Art direction is Jesse Stewart. Costume design is Sarah Hayden Roy. Hair and makeup, we have Kyla Nickel and Kimmy Doyle. Okay, so the cast, we have got Gaby, played by Chelsea Peretti. Hold on, let me see if we have better listings. No, we do not. So then there's Amanda, who is played by Susan Kent, who is Gabby's sister. Her brother Alex is played by David Rossetti. He's got a daughter called Adele, played by Nadia Tonin. Who else do we have? Her dad, Jack, is played by Bill Carr. Nathan, her ex, is played by Eugene Sampang. Right, we've got Callie, who is a neighbor, played by Kate Lynch. Will is played by Jonathan Watton. Her chef is played by Taylor Olson. There's Lisa, played by Kirsten Oliver Taylor. Nicholas, played by Josh McDonald. The chiropractor is played by Marcus Simmons. The bride at the start is played by Amy Guerin. There's Blair, played by Kevin Kincaid. Jeremy, played by Fabian Mallinson. Aidan, played by Matthew Neat. Pia, played by Trina Cockram. Yeah, that's probably the main lot. I think so. Oh, the chiropractor's receptionist and wife is played by Fritzine Kentor. So the gist of the film is, hold on, are we? Gaby wants desperately to find love. Recently dumped and on the brink of 40, she feels she doesn't matter to anyone. Her best friend is preoccupied with her kids. Oh, that's a friend. I thought it was her sister. Okay, it's her friend, right? So, yes, that means Amanda is a friend, not a sister, right? Her family doesn't get her, and running her own catering business, mostly weddings, serves as a constant reminder of the love that has eluded her. Gaby's greatest fear that she'll end up a lonely and pathetic spinster seems to be her destiny. After a frenzy of dating leaves her exhausted and demoralized, Gaby admits she might never find love and must create a plan B. Gaby begins to build a meaningful and connected life. But when a chance romantic encounter with Mr. Right threatens to uproot her, she realizes the value of her life, even if it doesn't involve romance. So, yeah, that, people, is the gist. Now, there is a statement from the writer and the director. So, Andrea Dorfman, the director, said, Spinster, like all of my films, tells a story of someone who isn't always seen. In this case, the single woman. When I was in my 30s, at a time when it seemed all of my friends were partnering up and having kids, to be a single woman often felt as though I was invisible. In making Spinster, it was important to me to tell an honest story, not a fantasy. So instead of giving the audience the rom-com ending that they might anticipate, the writer Jennifer Deyell defies expectations by beautifully playing with the genre so that it's turned on its ear. Gaby, Spinster's lead, played by talented Chelsea Peretti, becomes seen entirely on her own terms. Peretti's Gaby is played with humor, heart, and vulnerability, creating a character we want to champion, inhabiting a story that feels real. Now, Jennifer Deyell, the writer, said, I know every strong woman should have moved past the shame and terror of remaining single. Should have. Wait, terror of remaining single. Should have. Hmm. That sounds, I'm not sure. Ugh. Anyway, I wish I could have shared Spinster with friends I watched go through the mid 30s scramble for a mate. Okay. I mean, that doesn't necessarily say a lot. Um, Now with the film, right? It's an odd one. I don't know really if I liked it or if I didn't like it. And when I say I like it and didn't like it, it's not that it was a terrible film. No, it was just like the way it was just constructed. Now, there's certain things that Andrea says in a statement, right? That the film is shifted on its head at the end, and it shows this whole focus, and I'm just like, I'm not sure. Right? I'm really not sure. And the other crazy thing about it is, I feel now there are differences, like because with women, there's the whole pregnancy thing. But when you're a guy and you're single, going to a lot of family things, weddings, and just out when all your friends have hooked up, you get those same fucking questions. Be like, oh, how come you haven't met anyone nice? Oh, when are you gonna get married? Oh, don't you want kids? Like you get those same fucking questions. So there is, I think something that everyone can look at a film like this and take something from. Now, when we first meet Gabby at the start, right? She's on her way home. And yeah, her boyfriend is just being a shit. Now, ending a relationship, it's shitty. I feel to do it on someone's birthday is real shitty. And because you're fucking up their birthday, man. Now, I've had that. I've had someone really try and derail the birthday, and it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? But also in the manner in which he was going to do it, that's not cool. That's not cool. But like there was no chemistry between them. So obviously, right, you understand this was not a thing that was ever gonna work, right? But after that, it is a little odd because I think we go through this kind of journey of her with her friend, her brother, just these weird situations with things that aren't always addressed in a way. Like there was a bit when she's moaning at her friend, being like, "Oh, you never make time for me," and all of this kind of thing. But then her friend does say, "Yeah, when I was pregnant and stuck at home, you never came to see me." Right. And it was just like, "Oh, yeah," but and then moved on. And it's kind of like, I think it's addressing all the factors. You know what I mean? Like, look, it can be shitty, but we have to be conscious of ourselves and what we're putting out there, what we are, you know what I mean, doing to cultivate a situation, right? An ambiance, as it were. And you can see that she isn't necessarily doing that. Because like the first interaction we see actually was a bride coming to sort out catering. And that's why I thought Amanda was her sister, but she does have a sister, right? So yeah, this bride, and she's like, "Oh yeah, and this is why and how we met," and blah blah blah, talking about her fiance and all this, and she's just rolling her eyes and being shitty, which I mean, it wasn't funny. So it's just like if it was funny, you'd be like, okay, okay. But it was just like, yeah. Weddings usually end in divorce and blah 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 and all of this stuff. And you're just like, yo, no one's doing that. Right? No one's like if the girl had been a complete and utter shithead, right? Was just rude and just you could boom, you can understand. But she wasn't. So it was a weird way to introduce us to Gabby in a way. I kind of felt. But and it was a bit forced, right? And there was a few of those moments in the film where you just think some of the dialogue doesn't is a bit forced, right? Some of the moments don't seem like she's at a friend's house, and a friend is having a kind of a gathering. It's like some clothes swap thing, something like that, right? And one of her friends is just like, oh, like doesn't know her, but then starts like first of all she seems like she's being nice, and then it all goes a bit weird, but the conversation didn't seem natural. It felt a bit like, that feels wonky. But here's the thing, then we have some really good moments, right? Where there's a sequence where she's going on several dates, and then there's this whole one about, well, it starts off weird because it's about the whole lying on the profile. And like it's just like, oh yeah, everyone lies, and then that's it. And it's just like, oh, I mean, they don't. And the reason you give, that's not a valid one. So we're just leaving that there. Okay, we're leaving that there. So it's weird. But then I thought, right, there's a bit when she's in bed and you just see on her face this kind of look of dejection and just disappointment. And I thought that was really good. Because in the film, like Peretti does oftentimes have this weird expression on her face. It was just like, I don't know what the fuck that is. But in this moment, like it was really palpable the emotions that she's giving off to us. So I thought that was great. Right. And then at the end, the whole interaction with Will, I thought that was real nice. Right. The ending, and this is the thing that Andrew talks about. The ending was weird, I thought, because you know what I mean? Like, look, you can be all about yourself. You can be like, yo, I'm trying to focus on me and I want to do this thing. But it's just like, it doesn't mean that you have to close the door on everything, right? That you can still go, well, we could see how this might work. Like, we could still have conversation. Like, there were other ways that things could go without a compromise, without um restricting like the things she wanted to do. So I thought that was odd, but it's something that you oftentimes do see when a film is trying to make this bold statement of like, you can be fine on your own. And it's just like, yeah, you can. Right? Kids, marriage, they're not necessary, right? To have a great life. I mean, you could live with someone and never get married. And essentially it's the same thing, right? You might not want kids. All of these things are all valid, but I just think to be like, oh, the only way to achieve her real wish is to not pursue something just seemed, I don't know, just seemed a bit like odd. Like there's other things that you could do. So you could explore them. It doesn't have to listen, it doesn't have to end on that whole saccharine ending of and they all lived happily ever after. But just like, I don't know, let's see. Right? That's fine too. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean. Where I'm not quite sure how I feel about the film, but yeah, there are some charming little moments. I really thought that the young lady that played Adele, Nadia Tonen, I thought she was great. I thought she did a really good job of having this kind of shy kid that's always trying to, do the things that the grown-ups want to do. You know what I mean? And then just kind of find her own voice slightly and just, you know what I mean? I thought she handled that very well. So yeah, there's some good things about this for sure. I didn't think it's a little uneven, but if you are someone that likes films such as, oh God, what are some of the things that I was thinking of? In a World, right? That one. Um, oh, the Boy Downstairs, right? There are a couple of films that kind of come to mind. If you like those, I feel that yeah, Spinster will most likely work for you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's on all VODs. I watched it on Prime. So there you go, people. Maybe check out Spinster.